We've also served in the county assembly as a speaker of the assembly. Bwana Kiplagat here has also served in the devolved systems. And the question has always been, are we getting it wrong with Nairobi in as far as devolution is concerned? Now, for the second time, we see a head of the national government coming out and saying, hey, there's a problem here. President Uhuru Kenyatta was very much criticized when he intervened the same way in Nairobi, and he brought in the NMS when Mike Sonko was governor because he could see probably or some failure was noted. This time around, the president has come out and said, we cannot leave Nairobi to continue drowning in garbage. He was very clear. Those were his words. And having muddy roads. Is that an indictment on devolution or on this particular governor, Johnson Sakaja?
Well, I won't say even on the particular governor or what. I will say, I have always said, Nairobi as a capital city, you have no choice but to always work with national government because your county is very unique. It's not like the other counties. You carry more of what I'll say, you are the gate of the global that people look at. And so any government that comes in place must make sure you work with the governor of Nairobi. I remember for us, there was a point we reached and we said, it is, the Constitution allows you. So there's nothing wrong to coming up with a good framework and use article from 187 going to down that we can have functions with the national. We can hand over this function. This function we want the national government to run, but then we will ensure, yes.
For example, on this issue that he has mentioned, garbage.
Yeah.
Muddy roads.
Yeah.
Surely, do you think that those are functions that should be taken over by the national government?
Well,
a county administration has been unable to ensure that the city is clean?
Even the last time.
The city has been run by mayors before.
The city was run by mayor, was run with bylaws. And these bylaws were very strict bylaws, and you had very good inspectorates of the county then. People fear the inspectorate of councils than even government policemen. But then now we have come and watered it down because of all the structures that we brought in. Let us agree. And so in Nairobi, you trust me, even before we talk about this too much garbage to collect, ask all of us here, how do we throw our garbage in the house? Why would I put garbage in my car, then drive off and find a place and just dump it? So it is, and we passed a law. It's only that I don't know what happened to the county. Why can they use the law that we passed? That in 10 meters of your place, if we find garbage, we fine you. And I'm wondering, I mean, honestly, for those who have been given the opportunity to work, I'm not saying we are perfect, no. I'm not saying we don't do things wrong. But for me, this thing of garbage also, you know, it has stopped me in Dagoretti North. I had to now start, in the Muslim area, I had to ban all the mkokotenis. You come with a mkokoteni, the community bans until we close the place.
I asked you a question, I don't know why you avoided answering it. Is it an indictment on devolution, or is it an indictment on this particular administrator of the county of Nairobi?
No, I said it is not. And I said it is in the Constitution that you have a right to work with the national, any county, by the way. When you feel that function, you find it difficult to move, you join in hands. Yes. And so I'm hoping, and that's what they're going to do, they're going to come up with a good agreement. Look at what the law says. Ask yourself, do you want to give the function for 1 year or 2 years? And then you work together for the benefit of all the people.
There's already provision on some of the functions, if at all it gets to that point that the national government can intervene and take over some functions. But collecting garbage, do you think that is what the national government should be taking over from the city of Nairobi? There are bigger problems where the national government should be coming in.
Of course not. But allow me just, because of the experience with the devolved system, having been a speaker in Uasin Gishu County for 5 years, there is something, the foundational setup of counties seems to be having problems. And if you see something that sometimes functions are transferred to national government, if you look at the drafters of the Constitution, initially Nairobi was not supposed to become a county. It was supposed to have a mayor, but most of the functions of Nairobi were supposed to be run through the national government, the metropolitan city. That could have worked, and that, if you look at since the promulgation of the constitution, that dictates has become anything that has deficiency in this constitution. There have been panel beating, but at the end of the day, we'll have to swallow the bitter bill. And the bitter bill is that in terms of the governance structure, even at the national level, there are some seats we need to create. At the counties level, Nairobi has to be a metropolitan run by national government, and we just have a mayor to do the politics of the city. Then secondly, if there is something that has to come to the national government, is the health system within the county. Those are the health system is what has actually been run down, and it is even giving SHA implementation a bad name. So if we don't control what happens in the health system, because what I've seen in most counties, they will like functions that are appetizing. They don't like functions that are consumers. They will like something that is
garbage collection,
and garbage collection for sure in this 21st century. And we also go to benchmarking all over the place. If you go to Europe, there is a whole setup in which garbage are collected and then recycled under waste
management. Is this an indictment on the governor directly? That you've been unable to collect garbage in Nairobi?
Of course, there is garbage everywhere, and you are the governor of Nairobi. How do you become a governor of Nairobi when there is garbage everywhere? It is as, for lack of a better word, it is as good as that. So let us actually look at the deficiencies within the 2010 constitution and be able to fix. And one of it, there are three things we need to fix in this constitution. One is the health system. Secondly is the city of Nairobi, which is the seat of power. And thirdly is the structure of governance.
Okay. But we've had governors before in Nairobi. For the president to come out and single out the issue of garbage collection in the city, that is a stark failure on the part of this administration. Do you believe that this is a direct indictment on the performance of this governor?
So that, let me say that Article 184 of the Constitution, 184 of the Constitution, allows and actually creates the provision for the enactment of the Urban Areas and Cities Act. And that law was enacted. Now let's be very clear. That law was enacted, and you find Kisumu, Nakuru, Mombasa, and Nairobi are supposed to be governed by the Urban Areas and Cities Act. Sakaja, it seems to me, his legal advisors and whoever is surrounding him has never probably familiarized himself with the provisions of that law. Now, Section 6, subsection 5 of that act states that the county government and the national government shall enter into an agreement about the sharing of the functions. Now, we did this with her when the issue was imposed of the NMS on Nairobi people by His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. I went to court and we filed a court case saying that 27.4 billion, which is supposed to go to the county, should not go to the NMS. She was the speaker at that time. What happened? The money was actually not anymore under the surveillance, the watchdog of the Nairobi County Assembly. It went and shifted to an amorphous entity, NMS. And what happened with the NMS was so tragic because it was militarized. It was populated with these military officers, which was totally and absolutely unconstitutional. And I fear that we are headed just down there, the same path. Now, if you read Section 13 of that act, it clearly says that there shall be a county manager. County manager. There should be someone managing the county. I don't know what is happening again when you do not have a county manager who is supposed to be doing it for a period of 5 years so that there is continuity and there is institutional memory such that there was supposed to be a county manager during Sonko's time, actually Kidero's time. And we went to court. And the court, the Honorable Justice Odunga, had directed Kidero, Honorable Kidero, at that time, that within 60 days, in the year 2020, was it 2020, that he should have the county manager. He didn't. So Honorable Sonko came in, and when he was about to get into that field, I think someone then salivated on the big funds that were then in the county government, enacted and brought the enemies, and it created chaos. Contractors and people who are engaged by the enemies suddenly have absolutely no legal basis to follow the county government. But to answer your question, garbage is big money. Big money. And they who control the reins of power in the executive salivate over that money. Because you have a garbage collector instead of the county, and which makes me shocked that the county government does not invest in these garbage collection facilities, because Mheshimiwa said that, you know, in developed countries or other countries that claim to be developed, they recycle their waste. And Mheshimiwa Elachi has said, why is it at the very personal level, you are supposed to isolate your garbage into 3 containers, and it's not happening. And you have these, bio-waste, and you have the plastics, and you have this recyclable waste to make it easier for the garbage collection. And we can use the bio-waste in the manufacture of fertilizers or whatever it is, mixing with other material that we could use as a people. So the failure in the management, the governance of Nairobi County, in my view, stems from this ego of, I am the governor, I've been elected as a governor, and therefore I cannot have someone, although constitutionally entrenched, Article 184, although provided for in the law that they have passed.
The county manager.
Yes, Urban Areas and Cities Act. Urban areas and cities. Nakuru should not be having the governor going to look at the hospital, how it is. He's a county manager. Right. Kisumu and Mombasa.
Because of time, let's allow Bwana Lote to also contribute to this.
Yes. So let me wind up by saying, garbage collection is big business. So like you say, and their eyebrows, garbage collection, that's what you should be. That is what you should actually be engaged in. But I fear that is driven more by the interest to be derived.
It's all about garbage.
It's not about garbage.
Thank you. If Nairobi fails, the entire country fails. This is actually the city that represents Kenya. Every leader, every foreigner lands into Nairobi. What the president, at the stage of the president, he had the liberty of saying that, of course, Nairobi is wallowing in dirt and darkness. But if it wasn't because of the stature of the presidency, probably will say Sakaja needs to step aside, because personally, I think Sakaja has failed. Walk from the airport all the way to the city center. Better Sonko and even all the Kidero, who had even Kidero grass. The whole place is littered. You are a visitor, you are landing, and you find a whole place, a whole highway. Up there is the superhighway. Down there is the Mombasa Road, and all the street children, and dust and mud on the road. We saw the rains recently, where in Nairobi, people's shops were flooded with water. Nairobi gets 20 billion shillings. And Sakaja cannot even maintain a roundabout. You find a roundabout just planting trees, grass, or even flowers. Roundabouts in Nairobi are chaotic. You go around the Haile Selassie, where street children are bathing in the river. There's a stream or whatever, where they're building this underpass. People are bathing there in a country called Kenya, a country that we want to become a first world. People are naked, and a visitor walks in and sees this. What does it tell you about Kenya? So Sakaja is failing Kenya because he's failed to manage the city. I think the president nearly just said, step aside. And I want to agree that we are Kenyans with a bad mentality. Sometimes we might want to blame the president, we might want to blame Sakaja or the leadership, but we are Kenyans with a bad mentality. We are the people that throw garbage on the road. People chewing sugarcane and throwing it from their vehicles. People are actually destroying the cabs. They are putting up today a road curb. People are stealing the furniture, the road furniture. They are putting up street lights. At night, people come and remove all of them. It is not the governor. It is not the president. It is the mentality that we've got, a third world mentality. So
As much as we are inducting the governor for not performing his duty, and I believe he needs to perform his duty, 20 billion shillings needs to be used to put the city up. But we also need to change our mentality as Kenyans. We need to start knowing what we need to do. Look at the way matatus are actually destroying our roads. Look at the way the borders are actually going against the traffic rules. They are actually riding opposite on the road.
Just like members of parliament are doing.
That is not.
But is that the role of the police?
That is not Sakaja.
All right.
Yeah, it's not
That
Sakaja.
is the
It's not
mentality of
Sakaja.
Kenyans that needs to be changed.
Allow me to ask this question because we've posted it on our Twitter page. How would you rate the current state of Nairobi under Governor Sakaja's leadership? And hey, you don't want to hear this. But anyway, no change. Academic gangsters feel terribly worse since independence, getting worse. One term? Okay. I don't care, Babu Owino is coming to clean the mess, getting worse, improving. And unfortunately, because of time, I may not be able to, because it continues and the conversation will continue even after this. Unfortunately, we do not even have time for parting shots today, unfortunately.
No, I'll put it for Nairobi. And I will say this. Any Nairobian, me and you, garbage, it is us who have decided to lead our own city.
Yes.
And so from now onwards, can we just keep that, collect it, even with a small bag, even the one you've just bought bread, don't throw it, put that garbage in. And for those who are cooking on the roads, try and maintain it to be clean. All the matungis all over, you even wonder, it is not a market in Kawangware, it is a street where people are supposed to be walking. And so there are some things,
yes. And
as we blame the governor, we can sort it out ourselves.
Well, the poll on X, how would you rate the current state of Nairobi under Governor Sakaja's leadership? Getting worse, 44%, improving, 33%, no change,
he's trying now.
22%.
He has been cleaning up.
Thank you so much.
So we still support
Beatrice
Governor
Salachi,
Sakaja.
MP
and we
Dagoretti
say,
North,
take it on.
David Kiplagat, MP Soy, Wakili Harrison Kinyajui, and Titus Lote, MP Kacheliba. Thank you so much for your time at TV47 this morning. Once again, State House scare, that's a big one on the front page of the Daily Nation. Another experiment talking about the Nyota Fund, and we didn't get to talk about it. That's a standard, and it's the only story on the front page of that paper. I think we've discussed a lot about the one on the People Daily, where they talk about locked out, how the political class decides for us and not with us. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the state of the nation.